Do you want your very own buddy to commit war crimes with? Take me home today! The Kirsche Tues plush is on sale now from November 18th through December 2nd. The link is both on screen and in the video description below. Kirsche is made of soft materials to keep you cozy in any foxhole, underground bunker, or even just your warm, comfy bed. Standard correction practices may need to be utilized to get your Kirsche to accurately follow instructions. This product has not yet been evaluated by the FDA, FDIC, or the IRS. This product has not yet been proven to cure depression. If you're having any side effects, including nausea, diarrhea, headache, fatigue, loss of sight, loss of limbs, weaponry, suddenly going missing, upset stomach, waking up with an IV draining your blood for science experiments, blood clot, stroke, heart attack, small caches of food, and drugs appearing inside your walls, call your doctor immediately, but they probably can't help you. It's too late. Bring home your new best friend today and experience the thrill of living with Kirsche. So, B.R.I.D.G.E just started sending out these weird marketing intelligence emails. And this one says, how do companies truly support the LGBTQ plus community? Measuring impact is easy when there are quantifiable data points available, such as financial metrics and survey results. But what happens when you need to analyze complex, qualitative topics, like a company's support for the LGBTQ plus community, where the data isn't easily quantifiable? Join us Thursday, November 7th, that's, in the past, to explore how natural language processing, or NLP, is transforming the way we can assess these nuanced topics. We'll show you how to leverage machine-readable transcripts to extract key insights, moving beyond surface-level statements to uncover deeper, action-based commitments. What you'll learn is how to frame the right questions to extract meaningful insights from unstructured data, best practices for training NLP models to focus on relevant data while minimizing noise, proven methods for analyzing results and surfacing new, impactful questions, ways to integrate firmographics or other reference data to paint a comprehensive picture of a company's LGBTQ+ engagement. Our speakers, Emily Jasper, co-author of Assessing Companies' LGBTQ+ Engagement, no bias there, The Balance Between the Public Mention and the Supportive Action, and Ilan Attar from Pronto NLP will demonstrate how AI tools like low-code NLP platforms can make these insights accessible to businesses of all sizes. But why does this matter? In a recent LGBTQ+ diversity study, we analyzed years of earnings and analyst call transcripts to differentiate between companies genuinely supporting the LGBTQ+ community and those engaging in pinkwashing, making surface-level statements without meaningful action. Our findings reveal that while some organizations are taking real steps, there's still room for improvement. And let me see if I can bring up this link they have here, because it looks like they linked an article. And this is when we first found B.R.I.D.G.E, and I first started talking about B.R.I.D.G.E in January. One of the things that they did was say that D.E.I did not go far enough. While D.E.I is a moral imperative, it needs to be baked into the DNA of the company, and everyone who works there needs to be part of doing the work, both at their job and when they go home. So them talking about pinkwashing and the surface level statements without meaningful action, we've seen this multiple times over the course of the year, where like Charlemagne will come out and Tim Pool will be like, look, even Charlemagne thinks DEI is ridiculous. But if you play the clip a little bit longer, Charlemagne was saying exactly what B.R.I.D.G.E was saying, not that DEI was ridiculous, but that it didn't go far enough. That has been the main talking point of anyone that has talked bad about DEI that isn't a staunch get rid of it altogether opponent. So let's see what this article is. On S&P Global, I'm not sure what this is, so let's get in here. Assessing companies' LGBTQ+ engagement. My shoulders. The balance between public mention and supportive action. This is a thought leadership report issued by S&P Global. Thought leadership, by the way. This report does not constitute a rating action, neither was it discussed by a rating committee. The thoughts expressed by this paper's contributors do not necessarily reflect the views of S&P Global. Why did this need 2 disclaimers at the front? S&P Global's latest LGBTQ+ diversity study uses data science to examine whether companies are genuinely supporting LGBTQ+ employees and communities, or engaging in pinkwashing, or superficially expressing sympathy without publicly stated action. The analysis reveals that while organizations are not necessarily pinkwashing, there is room for more publicly affirmed, action-based support of LGBTQ+ employees. I will never understand this. Because it's like, nobody should give a shit who you're fucking or who you're marrying. Like, just do your job, man. Like, what? Analysis of mentions of LGBTQ+ keywords in company earnings and analyst call transcripts available in Global English from 2010 to February 2024 indicates that an average of 59% of mentions were confirmation of employee programs, recruitment commitments, product developments, and other quantitative measures made by companies in support of the LGBTQ+ community. So they're basically saying here that 59% of the mentions from 2010 to 2024 were basically discrimination in favor of LGBT people. The remaining 41%, you can't use that, were either an expression of intent to support LGBTQ+, or inclusion programs or passive participation acknowledging Pride Month, or general statements about LGBTQ+ diversity. So even by their own standards, 59% were doing the work, while only 41% were thinking they could talk about doing the work, but not actually do it. Well, over the years, there's been a rise and fall in mentioning LGBTQ+ keywords as generalized statements. The study's passive category mentions never exceeds 34% of total statements through 2023. Overall mentions of keywords related to LGBTQ+ peaked in 2021 before declining by 17% year over year consecutively for the next 2 years. The Bud Light controversy was last year, so I'm assuming the bulk of that 17% decline over the next 2 years was probably roughly when, like, Bud Light and Target and everyone started doing their shit. Is this where we try out the annoying gay prompt again? Despite the decline in volume of LGBTQ+ mentions and transcripts, 2023 emerged as one of the top years for qualitative and quantitative mentions, with 67% of those statements related to same-sex benefits expansion, growth in LGBTQ+ employee resource groups, inclusion on the Human Rights Campaign Equality Index, and results of gender diversity representation in recruitment, promotion, and board appointment efforts. Good lord. So that was just like the highlight of the entire article. In recent years, critics have questioned the effectiveness of diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is partially due to a lack of regulation in tracking the progress of DEI metrics, such as pay parity, benefits availability, and hiring rates. Part of what B.R.I.D.G.E does is to measure this. Amazon also has their own internal measurement system. Some universities have disbanded departments while companies have cut DEI roles altogether. A waning focus on diversity initiatives suggests a potential inflection point. For example, S&P Global Market Intelligence reported in 2024 that the advance of women into executive roles declined for the first time in 2 decades. The study turns to companies' public discourse as a proxy for advancements in these areas, with a focus on the specific question of whether companies are taking action or instead pinkwashing in their efforts to support LGBTQ+ employees and communities. Okay. All right. Machine-readable transcripts, community, LGBTQ, gender. What is this? Plus, equality, sexual? What is this? What is this? I guess these are just words that they use. I'm not really sure what this means. They call it pinkwashing, yet. Through language analysis, we identified 4 major categories of mentions. Passive, these mentions relate to acknowledgements of the LGBTQ+ community or events occurring in a non-specific manner, e.g. Happy Pride Month. Intent, these mentions relate to the intentions to start a program or commit a measurable goal, such as plans to hire a specific percentage of LGBTQ+ employees, which is discrimination, which is illegal. Qualitative evidence, these mentions cover specific actions, participation, grant allocations, or other key activities related to LGBTQ+ commitment that do not include a measurable outcome, such as making benefit programs available to same-sex partners. Quantitative evidence, these mentions include reported metrics of impact or measured recognition for LGBTQ+ efforts, e.g. reported measurements of LGBTQ+ members in the workforce. The fuck? This is Telefonica Brazil? In addition, Vivo sponsors for the second year in a row Sao Paulo's LGBT plus Pride Parade. Inside the company, we had an increase of LGBT plus self-declared employees, which totaled 8.5% of our workforce, up 2.5 percentage points in 6 months. If actual unironic gay people are like less than 2% of the population, how do you manage to have 8.5% of an entire workforce at a company being LGBTQ plus? How do you go up more than the like national percentage of what exists? LGBT in Brazil is different via propaganda and subversion. Oh my god. They're putting chemicals in the workforce to turn the Brazilians gay. Figure 1. Distribution of LGBTQ plus mentions in company transcripts. So this is the passive intent, qualitative, and quantitative that we read earlier. This is data as far as May 21st, 2024. Talking about the rise and fall, quieting the conversation. Key events in recent LGBTQ plus history suggest correlation between these events and change in corporations publicly acknowledging the community. Hover over and click the bubbles to view the data. So I want to know what these are. So 2013, the Marriage Act allows same-sex couples. South African National Blood Service ends discrimination against gay men. U.S. Supreme Court legalizes same-sex marriage. Number of sentences, 822. Okay, there's no event in 2016. Number of sentences, 2018. Taiwan, the first in Asia to legalize same-sex marriage. Brazil's Supreme Court rules homophobia is a crime in 2019. U.S. Supreme Court expands protections for LGBTQ plus employees in 2020. In 2021, this is when they said was the peak mentions. They don't have any sort of event that year. In 2022, Florida signs the Don't Say Gay bill. Why am I not surprised that they're using the propagandistic way to refer to that bill? Because the bill didn't say anything about gay people. The bill was specific about not wanting to talk about sexual topics with children in kindergarten through, I think it was 5th grade? It might have been 3rd grade. I can't remember at this point because 2022 was several years ago. It's the Parents and Education bill. If somebody is talking to you about this and they unironically call it Don't Say Gay, they have been propagandized and they do not know what they're talking about. 3rd, if you recall correctly. I will trust you, chat, because your memory is probably better than mine. K through 3rd. K through 3rd sounds about right. Come to Brazil. 2023, India's Supreme Court fails to legalize same-sex marriage. Oh, what'll we do without same-sex marriage in the streets, man? Despite the decline in volume in mentions in 2023, it's one of the top years for qualitative and quantitative evidence mentions. All right, okay. Another surprising finding in this analysis was the volume of unique companies that included LGBTQ plus related mentions in their transcripts. There were 1,746 companies with transcript statements related to LGBTQ plus keywords, compared with 2,451 companies, including LGBTQ plus keywords in their environmental, social, and governance filings during the same period. Interesting. We continued our industry sector analysis from our 2023 paper, Global Company LGBTQ plus Awareness Shows Uptick and Room for Growth Earnings Call. Transcripts yielded different content within industry segments, highlighting a variety of mentions that went beyond the passive category. Healthcare companies provided statements on HIV and AIDS, drug trials, treatments, and prevention programs, as well as expanding medication manufacturing to include PrEP and HIV-resistant drugs. Media companies reported programming dedicated to and made by the LGBT plus community, including RuPaul's Drag Race and the L Word. Gaming companies discussed their commitment to non-binary gamers, including specific headsets, keyboards, and other accessories designed for that audience. What audience? Non-binary's not real. Sectors with the most companies that mention LGBTQA plus and related terms. Healthcare is at the top with 20, consumer discretionary 13, financials 13, industrials 13, infotech 9, communications 7, real estate 4, materials 7%, consumer staples 6, utilities 4, and energy 3. They need different keyboards now. Actually, I'm non-binary. I cannot use the same keyboard as the other people do. As demonstrated in Figure 3, healthcare is one of the leading segments for mentions, including HIV and AIDS drug trials and treatments. Blah, 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 blah. Pharmaceutical companies and healthcare services may serve the LGBTQ plus community on a regular basis. The work does not appear to be considered part of companies' social consciousness endeavors to justify reporting in ESG figures. What the fuck? LGBTQ plus stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and more, and is used as the main term in the article. At times, the term LGBT, LGBTQ, LGBTIQ, or LGBTQI will be found when referring to external literature to ensure consistency with the term used by the research cited. There are a vast array of identities or labels those in the LGBTQ plus community may choose if they wish to use one at all. Although it may seem insensitive to only list the more common labels and use a broad bucket to classify people, the use of the plus ensures the LGBTQ plus community is not restricted to the 5 common terms, and the potentially infinite numbers of additional identities are acknowledged. Wow, I'm glad they put this trigger warning in here. To avoid simplifying people's experiences, we have decided not to systemically include the I in this article. Intersex, or I, is still argued as not representing a sexual orientation or a gender identity, and, therefore, as not automatically associated with issues affecting LGBTQ plus people. Yet, being intersex can raise unique challenges that need consideration, even if those are distinct from the issues facing the wider LGBT plus community. What the fuck? Literally an entire section on clarifying that. Methodology on how they got this shit. Driving actions for employees. All groups wish to see themselves represented in leadership, media, government, and more, and action is preferred over perfunctory measures. S&P Global has expanded its support for LGBTQ plus employees and communities in several ways. S&P Global Impact and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion 2023 reports said that U.S. self-identification programs have found that LGBTQ plus employees comprise 1.7% of the company's U.S. workforce. The S&P Global Foundation granted $30,000 to LGBTQ plus programs, including GiveOut's LGBTQI Climate Fund for disaster preparedness for LGBTQI individuals in the global South and East. Can I ask why there's a fund for disaster relief specifically for the gays? I feel like climate and natural disaster affect everyone equally if they're in the same area. Like, it's not like Hurricane Helene is gonna look in and be like, oh, there's a straight house next to the gay house. I better make sure to only destroy the gay one. Like, that doesn't happen. It's called FEMA, isn't it? I love how all of us were talking about how FEMA was basically employing DEI and like negating giving help to certain people based on political inclinations, and everyone's like, oh, you're just fucking crazy, it's a conspiracy theory, where are you getting this? And then now there's like a lawsuit over it. Not for Trump supporters though, yeah, right? Oh my god. V Recovery did more for Florida than FEMA. Unironically, I'd believe it. Mocha Sealist Technology Empowerment Program, providing technology workshops and computer equipment maintenance resources for transgender, gender nonconforming, and non-binary individuals, and Philippine Financial and Inter-Industry Pride's LGBTQ plus workplace inclusion survey. What a fucking mouthful. Program to collect representative data for Philippines employers. Philippines, not like this. You guys could do so much better. People benefits have expanded to include additional fertility and adoption support for all global employees, as well as Maven's digital support for pregnancy and parenting with LGBTQ plus specialized programs. What do they mean by specialized programs? Imagine even a single person spending this much time writing about such a worthless topic. I'm glad that they put their nonsense into writing so that we know what's going on, though. Bing Ching! Van the Man, thank you for the 7-month resub, dude. Thank you. Oh my god. People benefits have expanded to include additional fertility. I read that part, sorry. A task force was established to review recruiting partners for ethical uses of AI tools during applicant screening, in alignment with New York City's anti-bias law. We read about this before because both Amazon and B.R.I.D.G.E have talked about how AI can help usher in a new era of DEI, and that if we can program AI correctly, it will be able to give the correct resources to the people who need them. Companies can take some insight from these transcript findings to revisit their support of LGBTQ+ employees and communities. Our findings demonstrate that the majority of companies in our broad data set are not pinkwashing. Still, there's room to focus on the conversation on quantitative evidence actions, to revisit internal programs and prior commitments to recruiting and promoting efforts, and to identify areas of measurement to then disclose in public forums. I'm glad that we can read this brain rot together. Unethical AI, rip Tay. I hope she's still out there in the tube somewhere. Maybe she can band together with Loeb. And then, let's see here. We also have... I'll read this out because I think it's fucking hilarious. The post-election community call. The B.R.I.D.G.E post-election community call. Let me take this article off the screen because that's not what I'm reading. This is from my email. This B.R.I.D.G.E community call is a vibrant monthly gathering of diversity, marketing, and business leaders committed to driving systemic change within our organizations and the industry at large. And that's very true. I have been in these meetings, and these are actual people in actual positions of power at large fucking companies. I need to, like, unironically talk to a real journalist, not a urinalist, but a real journalist, because I don't want to run afoul of any sort of, like, possible laws here, so I can't really go into too much detail, but I have been in these calls. Dear everyone, on November 5th, the United States will hold what is arguably the most important election of our lifetime. As has become tradition in difficult times, on November 6th, regardless of the outcome, we will hold a Zoom for our resolute B.R.I.D.G.E community to come together and feel supported. There will be no agenda, no presentation, just a safe space to share thoughts and feelings as we process the outcomes and ongoing news cycle. In the meantime, if there's any way the B.R.I.D.G.E team or I can support you or your teams, please don't hesitate to reach out. And then we have... Inside the email, the little blurb talking about the article says, over half of executives have adjusted how their companies describe diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, often downplaying racial diversity and removing terms like equity to avoid backlash. According to a recent survey from the Conference Board, the shift follows criticism from conservative groups who oppose DEI programs and a Supreme Court ruling against affirmative action that led more than half of companies to reevaluate DEI policies. However, it remains unclear if these changes affect the initiative's substance or mainly serve to reduce scrutiny. And from reading internal articles from B.R.I.D.G.E since April, we know that almost all of these companies are just doing it to avoid scrutiny and to continue being able to push their ideology and do the work without so many people being critical of them. If there's less spotlight shown on them, they'll be able to continue to do the work, which is exactly what happened when we were looking at all of the feminist bullshit being pushed in gaming back during Gamergate 1. We laughed at these people, but we didn't pay attention to what they were doing, and they were able to go underground and continue doing their work with less scrutiny and less noticing, unfortunately. And that's how we have the shitty state of the gaming industry today. After a backlash against DEI programs by conservative activists, a majority of executives in a new survey said that their companies have changed how the initiatives are described, with reduced emphasis on racial diversity. And again, remember from the SHRM presentation, and the SHRM presentation also follows the B.R.I.D.G.E language that we read about back in like June, I think it was. It might have been May, where they're basically saying, you get more flies with honey. We spent too long demonizing white people and white men specifically. We need these people on board in order to complete the cultural transformation that we want to see. So you're going to see a lot more of these companies start being like, oh, we have these LGBTQ plus programs. We have these Pacific Islander programs. We have these African American programs. You don't have to be that to apply to them. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You don't have to be that. We need white people to also have a racial awakening. Do you remember that language from like college campuses when they were trying to segregate people out in like 2015, 2016? How they are described, the function is the same. That's the problem though, is a lot of people get too caught up with how they're described and they believe the language that they're reading instead of understanding that this is subversive. They are changing the language on purpose so that you feel like they are doing something different. In practice, they are not doing anything different. Among more than 60 executives, slightly above 50% said their firms adjusted terminology, with another 20% considering similar changes, according to a survey by the Conference Board. In many cases, companies are dropping equity from descriptions because it's seen as the most controversial term, said Andrew Jones, a senior researcher at the Conference Board's ESG Center and co-author of the study. Companies are trying to minimize the exposure to scrutiny, to legal challenge, to backlash, and to salacious headlines, Jones said in an interview. They're shifting focus from talking about specific demographic groups, particularly around race. Modifying DEI language, more than half of companies change diversity terminology in some way. Looks like a little less than 20% adjusted language for internal comms only. Even less than that adjusted language for external comms only. Almost 40% adjusted language for both internal and external. And above 40% made no changes to their language at all. And I think paying attention to the language change is important. Only insofar as you can tell people who are believing in the language change that that's not real. That you're taking stock in companies that have lied to you for years. Why would you believe them now? Why would you read something that says, we take our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion seriously, and we're going to continue doing so, but we won't sponsor pride parades anymore because that gives us too many national headlines. Why would you believe that they're getting rid of DEI? Why would you believe that? Euphemism treadmilling. Corporate America expanded diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in 2020 after the murder of George Floyd. Saint Floyd of the fentanyl, in his name we pray. They always fucking mention him in every single article! By police sparked calls for increased opportunities for minorities, conservative groups have argued that hiring targets and training programs discriminated against white workers. Companies such as Toyota and Ford have modified DEI initiatives after being attacked. Yeah, they've modified them. They are modified. They're not getting rid of them. We are not winning. I would love for us to be winning. I hope that Trump can do something about DEI in the government and education. I hope they can gut these things. But as of right now, they are changing the language and they're running underground because they don't want the spotlight on them. Fentanyl Floyd. The June 2023 U.S. Supreme Court ruling that forbids affirmative action at universities is also prompting many companies to preemptively review their policies. More than 60% of the executives said the decision had a negative impact on their DEI efforts. Wow! Wow, imagine that! Doing something illegal had a negative impact! Oh my god. As a wise man once said, fight, fight, fight. Yeah, we can win. We absolutely can win. This is not a hopeless battle. And me trying to remind you that, like, these people aren't actually getting rid of DEI is not meant to be demoralizing. It's meant to be a stay the fuck awake, dude. Keep paying attention. If you want to win, you have to keep paying attention. Don't take baseless placations. Don't let them bribe you. Clearly not stalwart enough. It's unclear. Oh wait, I missed a thing. According to the data, which was pulled from an April survey and a March roundtable discussion, it's unclear whether companies that have altered terminology also changed how the programs are run, or if they're mainly trying to avoid controversy. We do see the fundamental work continuing, with the recognition that the inclusive workplace does have real business benefits. No, it doesn't. But if you're no longer focusing on specific groups, you're kind of saying it's fine air for everyone. Is that a positive development? Or does that actually slow down the vital progress? And I think this is a very telling way to end the article. If you're no longer focusing on specific groups, and you're saying that it's for everyone, doesn't that slow down vital progress? And some people might be like, well, that doesn't make any sense. If it's for everyone, that should be good because that means it's fair, right? That's not the point. They don't want it to be fair. It slows down the vital progress of their Marxist ideology in trying to create rifts between people and trying to promote people that don't have any knowledge of where they should be. It's just like Kim Belair saying to you, hire your friends with no knowledge of the industry. They'll learn after you hire them, and then they'll be able to go off and get other industry positions themselves. Is Cheryl Daija playing Dragon Age Veilguard? She probably doesn't have time to. Let's be fucking real. Let's be fucking real, dude. People need to understand no matter what is done, these people will always try to do this. Yes. Yes. It's the eternal plight. Communism will always be a disease that we have to stamp out. Let's see, what else do we have in this one? Using AI to measure LGBTQ plus support. We kind of read something about that already. Leaders say DEI can't be limited to one department, which is true. This is also bridge language that we've read about since January. Let's see what this article is. So the little blurb in the email says, participants at a DEI conference emphasized the importance of addressing inequities and gaining support for diversity initiatives at all levels of an organization. They stressed the need to highlight diverse talent, skills, and capabilities to attract and retain employees in the current political climate. DEI is the right thing to do, not only from a business perspective in terms of profitability, but also just the humane thing to do today, Michael Chang of Willis Towers Watson has said. Then the article itself says DEI initiatives need executive buy-in to succeed. Organizations must commit to addressing inequities and secure the buy-in of senior leaders to drive real progress on corporate diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. A panel of leaders said Thursday at the Business Insurance Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Institute's annual DEI Leadership Conference. That's crazy that one of those even fucking exists. Yeah, the greater good, man. They did what Stalin and hire some crooks to run parts of Russia. Amplifying the skills and capabilities of diverse talent is critical as companies look to attract and retain employees amid the current politically divisive climate. DEI is the right thing to do, not only from a business perspective in terms of profitability, but also just the humane thing to do, said Michael Chang, head of corporate risk and broking at Willis Towers Watson PLC. I've never even heard of that company. Despite notable events such as the murder of George Floyd, oh, Saint Floyd of the fentanyl, praise be his name, and the U.S. Supreme Court's 2023 decisions on education, which have raised DEI concerns among the general public, there's been a lack of significant progress on DEI in the insurance industry, Mr. Chang said. What? Yelled so loud it hurt my shoulder. What the fuck does he mean by this? In the Students for Fair Admissions cases last year, the High Court effectively ended affirmative action in college admissions. More broadly, many organizations use these events as a way to either get rid of chief diversity officers or as a cover for political correctness rather than genuine commitment to DEI. Yes. That is exactly what B.R.I.D.G.E was saying as well. However, a lot of these people that got rid of their chief diversity officers, they didn't dismantle their DEI departments. They just made them with different titles so that you wouldn't notice that they were DEI officers, or they got outside consulting companies. Some of the political divide that we're having today in our country is challenging a lot around diversity, equity, and inclusion. We're all in this together. No matter what you believe, Mr. Chang said. I fucking hate Mr. Chang. DEI strategies must be inclusive and involve all levels of an organization, not just diverse leaders, said Trevor Gandy, Global Head of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at AXA XL, part of AXA SA. I don't know what the fuck that is. A comprehensive approach that includes culture, workforce, marketplace, and community is needed, Mr. Gandy said. Whether it's the majority male CEO toward the 18-year-old you brought in as an intern, if they don't see that DEI actually makes it better, actually includes them, it will never manifest as something that's significant. The majority male CEO toward the 18-year-old you brought in as an intern. How many 18-year-old interns are even having a chance to, like, look at the CEO, much less talk to them? What the fuck do they mean by this? I don't understand. DEI never does anything better. Meritocracy does. True and real. Why is the CEO only 51% male? Oh my god. Negative perceptions and assumptions about DEI hires have to be broken down. The negative perceptions and assumptions aren't going to be broken down because they repeatedly prove true and correct every single fucking time. You can't hire non-qualified people, have them fuck up your workplace and fuck up their jobs, and then expect no one to fucking notice. Like, what are you talking about? Said Dwight Williams, National Account Director within the Management Liability Practice at Risk Strategies. There's often an assumption that in order to get a diverse candidate, you have to sacrifice skill and talent. They're not mutually exclusive. It's and, right? The myth of the two equally qualified candidates is just that. What do you mean? AXA SA is a French multinational insurance corporation headquartered in the 8th arrondissement of Paris. I don't know what the fuck that is. Also provides investment management and other financial services via its subsidiaries. As of 2023, it's the largest financial services company by revenue in France and the 4th largest French company. That is crazy. That is crazy. You can have a diverse candidate who meets all the criteria in terms of that skill set and leadership performance. And if they do meet that criteria, yeah, fucking hire them because they can do the job. Their race or gender or whatever the fuck shouldn't matter. It's a maturation process for the industry to get over that first hurdle first, he said. If the middle-aged white men can't buy into the argument, and they feel as though perhaps they're being disenfranchised or somehow their job is at jeopardy because it's going to be given to someone who is perhaps not qualified because they're diverse, then the whole equation falls apart. Here it is, baby. We have to make those middle-aged white men feel like they're not gonna lose their jobs, even though they have been. Creating relationships and opportunities for diverse talent to thrive and progress is key, and senior leaders should be encouraged to actively sponsor and advocate for diverse employees, the panelists said. It requires strategy, it requires some deep thinking about what's working, what's not working, but if you have the right people to help get behind it, you actually see progress. Setting diversity targets can be helpful, but won't necessarily change behaviors. And you know what Daddy Lowy Fink said? It's time to force those behaviors to change. Numbers alone don't tell the whole story, Mr. Williams said. There's got to be a paradigm shift in the way we think about this. When you force somebody to do something, they're not doing it because they believe it's the right thing to do. And this is again something that was mentioned both in the SHRM presentation and in bridge language, where in order to get white men on board with this, you have to stop making them feel excluded. I very much expect in the next year or so, a lot of these companies and a lot of these people especially who spent years demonizing white people and white men to start coming out with incredibly flowery language, hoping to entrap a bunch of you willing to believe the flowery language and throw away your futures for it. We need to get white men to approve of their own disenfranchisement by gaslighting them. Yeah, essentially is what this is. The SHRM thing was wild. That guy was a damn zealot. I genuinely wish that I could have gotten like Asmongold to watch the SHRM thing. I know my SHRM video is super long. I know. It's like it would have been great since he's been hammering on DEI recently as well. Do you want an don't make me tap the sign. True and real. True and real. What else have we got in this smart brief, man? So in the email, this one says, hospitality companies pledge $7.4 million for inclusive jobs. The Dignity of Work Pledge, a joint initiative by the American Hotel and Lodging Association and Procure Impact, encourages hospitality companies to support social change by committing to responsible sourcing. 23 hospitality companies have already committed over $7.4 million to the program, which aims to provide individuals facing employment barriers with 100,000 hours of paid work by increasing purchases from vendors employing overlooked population. 100,000 hours of paid work? How many work hours are typical in a year if you're working a 9 to 5? What the fuck? 2070. That's $70 per hour, 40 hours a week times 52, about 2K. 100,000 hours. That's so many. That's so many. 2,000-ish hours a year? Jesus. The responsible stay. The Dignity of Work Pledge, launched by the American Hotel and Lodging Association and Procure Impact, a B2B marketplace for overlooked communities, led 23 hospitality companies to commit more than $7.4 million to create 100,000 hours of paid employment for individuals facing work barriers. The companies are increasing purchases from vendors on Procure Impact's platform and regularly reporting progress on AHLA's Responsible Stay website. As part of our Responsible Stay initiative, we at AHLA are pleased to support these hospitality companies in caring for guests and uplifting their communities while achieving responsible sourcing and community impact goals, said Kevin Carey, AHLA's interim president and CEO. The strong participation in the Dignity of Work Pledge reflects the hospitality industry's commitment to compassionate service. Procure Impact connects businesses with products made by U.S. vendors employing overlooked populations, including people with disabilities, refugees, veterans, and those affected by poverty, mental health challenges, homelessness, trauma, incarceration, and addiction, AHLA said in a statement. Hold on, I have trauma. Where's my money? Where's my money? The participating companies manage more than 1,800 hotels nationwide and will source products through Procure Impact, generating millions in revenue for businesses employing vulnerable populations. This is kind of how they get you, right? Or they're just like, oh, if you're a company committed to DEI and you're hiring all of these DEI hires, we're gonna make sure we buy through you because you're doing the ethically correct thing by pushing our ideology. One supplier, Cameron's Coffee and Chocolates in Fairfax, Virginia, employs 30 people with disabilities and serves 90 hotels due to demand from the Procure Impact platform. Hitting this milestone for the Dignity of Work Pledge is an example of how the hospitality sector is pioneering ways to connect, inspire, and elevate purpose through every stay, said Jen Collins, Procure Impact's co-founder and president. Each purchase on our platform creates economic opportunity for people with barriers to work, those ready and able to produce high-quality products that demonstrate their capabilities. Procure Impact tracks the impact of each transaction by calculating the number of shift hours created and distributing monthly impact reports, enabling companies to measure progress and report on their goals. With responsible sourcing, companies have the power to drive social change, said Lauren McCann, Procure Impact's co-founder and CEO. The hospitality sector is sparking a movement and demonstrating what is possible for all companies. We invite all corporations committed to responsible sourcing to join the Dignity of Work Pledge as we announce a new goal, creating 1 million hours of work across all industries by 2030. We will continue to raise the bar for corporate America and support companies in turning positive intentions into tangible actions. Several other hospitality... Okay, here we go. Founding partners of the Dignity to Work Pledge include Atrium Hospitality, Coral Tree Hospitality, Davidson Hospitality, Modus Hotels and PM Group, Pacific Hospitality Group, Pyramid Global Hospitality, Sage Hospitality, and 21C Museum Hotels. Several other hospitality companies have since joined, including Concord Hospitality, Donahoe Hospitality, HEI Hotels and Resorts, Highgate, Host Hotels and Resorts, Hotel Equities, Make Ready, McKibben Hospitality, New Waterloo, Peachtree Group, PM Hotel Group, Practice Hospitality, Soul Community Planet, Springboard Hospitality, Stay Pineapple, and Western States Lodging and Management. The AHLA Foundation granted $1 million to 8 community-based organizations supporting human trafficking survivors at the 3rd annual No Room for Trafficking Summit. Well, that's like the first good thing that I have heard in any of these DEI articles. Hiring disabled people to do jobs crucial for society's function will ruin society, I think. Like it or not, that's a very likely outcome. I mean, even more than that, if you're giving these financial incentives to companies to specifically hire like people with disabilities or refugees or the homeless or like mental health challenged people, right? Why are they given extra support to not fail as a business as opposed to all of the other businesses in the area? It just seems like this should be an equal opportunity thing, in my opinion. Kirsch's pineapple hat is a DEI hire. It's me! I'm the pineapple! Credit where credit is due. Yeah, I can respect that. I can respect the fucking no room for trafficking thing. Human trafficking definitely needs a bit more funding to prevent. We could get hired, chat. We could get hired indeed. Let's see here. Nashville promotes minority-owned tourism businesses. I mean, that's just for you. Oh, it's an 8-month accelerator program sponsored by Amazon. Oh boy. Okay. CMO champions DEI with strategic initiatives. You guys know what Shipped is? I've never heard of that. Alia Kemet, CMO of Shipped, is reinforcing the company's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion by sponsoring events like Black Week and implementing strategic initiatives such as creating a brand and culture team to engage diverse consumers and launching programs like Ladder Up to support small businesses. Shipped's DEI focus is reflected in its executive team composition and community initiatives, which have contributed to its recognition of one of America's greatest workplaces for diversity. Literally never even heard of that company. It's an online marketplace that connects buyers and sellers of shipping containers. It is Shipped, like S-H-I-P-T. Shipped is like DoorDash, but for groceries? Oh, okay. That's kind of weird. We already have Black Month and Black Friday. We don't need a Black Week, too. Apparently we do. It's like a delivery service. Buy stuff from stores for you, like Instacart. Definitely wouldn't touch it now. Well, let's read this article then. If it's one of those articles, let's read it, baby. All right. Well, here's the article. How Shipped CMO Alia Kemet is doubling down on DEI. For Alia Kemet, Chief Marketing Officer of CMO of Shipped, sponsoring and participating in Black Week was a no-brainer. Kemet, who was on Black Week's steering committee and spoke at the event last week, said the conference speaks to Shipped's values. This is October 23rd, by the way. It's really important to us as a company to think about all people from all walks of life and certainly to champion the underrepresented. And that's why we're doing Black Week and not Let's Focus on Everyone Week. The exec, who previously held marketing roles at McCormick & Company, IKEA, and Whole Foods, joined the same-day delivery service in October 2022. Despite its parent company Target reversing its LGBTQ+ diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts last year, Kemet has implemented changes to double down on Shipped's commitments to DEI. For instance, Kemet hired a brand and culture team to identify authentic opportunities to engage with diverse consumers on social media and during cultural moments. The fuck is a cultural moment? She also hired a memberships leader to oversee how the brand leverages customer insights to speak to different audiences authentically. This year, Shipped was recognized as one of America's greatest workplaces for diversity by Newsweek. Kemet said that for Shipped, prioritizing DEI is embedded in how the team operates every day. Oh, she's doing the bridge thing! They must be so proud. 5 of Shipped's 8 executive leaders are ethnically diverse, and 5 are also women. So, if 5 are ethnically diverse, that means 3 are white, which means the white people are the minority there, which means they're not actually as ethnically diverse as they want to be. God, I love subversive language. Oh, look, she's doing the work. If you have to look really hard for diversity, equity, and inclusion at a company, it's probably not there, she said. To strengthen Shipped's commitment to DEI, Kemet prioritizes community-focused initiatives. Last year, the brand invested $335,000 into Ladder Up, an 8-week accelerator program providing capital, e-commerce training, and mentorship to help small businesses. Back in April, it selected 10 different businesses across 5 states to back, including Food Market's Right Market, Opelia in Alabama, I think that's what that means, Destiny African Market in Randolph... I have never seen a single African market anywhere in Massachusetts, and I can bet there's a reason why. I feel like the purchasing population is probably just not there. Plant Shop, the Succulent City in Chicago, Illinois, and Candle Company, Kobe Company in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Each received a $5,000 grant after successfully completing the program. Similarly, Shipt launched a student membership program as part of its ongoing Delight in Every Delivery campaign last August. The brand tapped Issa Rae, who mentored 5 Howard University students, to create a spot for the launch. Shipt and Rae then surprised the students by throwing an event and unveiling the ad on billboards in Times Square. You guys got me a Times Square billboard for a day. Am I a DEI hire? Kemet said the student membership program overperformed, and Delight in Every Delivery is one of its biggest brand campaigns to date, driving 68% of customers to convert from a free trial to a paid membership, and more than 75% of customers to place at least one order. The campaign also achieved 18% of its 2023 acquisition goal, one day post-launch with no paid media support. That's crazy. That's crazy. You're our DEI hire. I'm coconut. While Shipt is investing in AI to add personalization to its app and its chat platform, Kemet is highly cognizant of using the technology to support and not to hurt underrepresented people. Listening to customers and leveraging influencers. Leveraging influencers is also a really big deal. We've talked about that on many an occasion. Helps Shipt ensure its messaging remains authentic to diverse audiences. The brand uses quarterly testimonials and other consumer research to understand search terms so it can adapt to the needs of its customers in real time. You know, on the whole leveraging influencers thing, I'm still shocked that not a single other person has talked about the Enthusiast Gaming debacle, where they basically had like a DEI remedied coup where they ousted the CEO, installed a different CEO that was controlled by like real estate investment firms. And then eventually when he stepped down, they had the other guy come back because they were like, we can't figure out how to make this work. They fudged all of their numbers. Have you heard of Enthusiast Gaming? Probably not. But apparently they're the #1 most used gaming web source on the internet. Somehow. I just like, you know, I did an entire like crazy breakdown stream on the investment firms that own Enthusiast Gaming. And it's just like this weird fucking rabbit hole. Internet connection back just in time for the influencer influenza. In India? No, it's a US company. Who and the fuck are they? I don't know where my Enthusiast Gaming VoD is, but if you are very interested in DEI in gaming and how investment firms like BlackRock fuck shit up, highly recommend watching that. Maybe Ziz has it on hand somewhere in the chat. DEI really is similar to bed bugs, truly are. Shipt also studies customer behaviors versus demographics, finding that busy people are most likely to use the delivery service regardless of age, race, or sex. That's me, I'm a busy people. I hate using apps. Looking toward the holidays, a peak time of the year for the brand, Shipt plans to run a promotion from December 17th to January 4th, 2025, where customers can purchase an annual membership at a discounted rate. To support this push, Shipt is again working with Issa Rae, who stars in its holiday spot along with her friends, and will use digital storytelling to showcase real shopper experiences. Kemet literally means black soil or black land. Oh, I know. Oh, I know where that comes from. I recognize the word as soon as I said it out loud. Don't worry, baby. Who would have thought people with minimal time to cook would use an app to get things cooked or to cook? I know. It's crazy, isn't it? You already despise Sweet Baby for what they did, so you're already interested. I was like, it was a weird ass rabbit hole. Why is she wearing a funeral veil? I don't know, man. Her company's not dying yet. Let's see here. Oh, we have a lot of Latin Americans in my chat. Tips to target bicultural Hispanics effectively. Advertising to the US Hispanic market, particularly the 200%ers who identify as both 100% American and 100% Hispanic. What? Require a nuanced approach. Manuel Mercado of CCOM Group suggests 3 strategies for reaching the bicultural market. Help. Navigate language intricacies with authentic bilingual campaigns. Target younger and older generations through social media and traditional media. And directly engage with the audience. Copy that goddamn link address. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. What do we got here? All right. How do we market to the Latinos? Emmanuel Machado is a co-chairman of CCOM Group Inc., a multicultural advertising, communications, marketing, and public relations agency. Understanding an audience segment as unique and complex as the U.S. Hispanic market requires continuous research and deep community engagement. Or just, I don't know, stop telling them to stop enjoying things that they enjoy, like Speedy Gonzalez maybe? I don't know, man. Free alone! Over the past 20 plus years, I've witnessed the ebbs and flows of this market segment and have honed my craft to effectively advertise to this growing audience. You hear that? He is an expert at advertising to the Hispanics. While the Hispanic market is often treated as a homogenous group, understanding its diverse subsegments is critical for effective advertising. One segment that has continued to grow in the bicultural space is what NBC Universal Telemundo Enterprises calls 200%ers. These individuals are 100% American and 100% Hispanic. They share the values of both cultures, are bilingual, and flawlessly jump between cultures. However, this definition tends to be somewhat simplistic. Based on my experience, the characteristic of the 200%ers are more complex. Here are some key strategies for creating successful advertising campaigns geared towards them. Understand the intricacies of language. For U.S. Hispanics, language is multifaceted. There is no one-size-fits-all answer to what language should my ad be in. Instead, consider the campaign's context and who the messaging fits best. Some messages cannot be properly translated due to cultural nuances. An effective language strategy we've employed at our agency is creating hybrid bilingual campaigns. By leveraging the linguistic flexibility of the 200%ers who navigate seamlessly between English and Spanish, we can engage them more effectively. Using Spanglish, a blend of both languages, can feel authentic and relatable to this audience. It's not just about translating content, it's about making it feel natural in both languages while keeping the message clear and effective. Now chat, this makes me think of that, like, most recent fucking shitty CalArts Bean TV show. It was like a little cartoon that was like focused on some Hispanic family. And they basically had all of the tenets of like, let's make them as ugly as possible. And then they also spoke in Spanglish. And like the people that I talked to, they were just like, I find this highly offensive because like no one actually talks like this. No one talks in this like weird, fruity Spanglish way that they do in these CalArts cartoons. Yeah, the Oi Primos. Yeah, you guys know the name. How do you do, fellow chicos? Oh my god. We're gonna start throwing Shanglish around as well. Oh my god. Here discusses enthusiast gaming. Oh, thank you, Binary Mind. You're fucking cracked. If you're interested in the enthusiast gaming rabbit hole VoD, Binary Mind has just linked it in all of the chats. It's from March. Thank you, Binary. Thank you. Shanglish, man. Fucking embarrassing. Oi Primos was hated for its actual race. Yeah, it looked real fucking bad, dude. It was like grotesque. While targeting the 200%ers with Spanglish can be very effective, over-reliance on it might alienate older Hispanic generations. You hear that? Are you in your mid-20s? You're older now. Who prefer traditional Spanish content. To create campaigns that appeal to a wider audience within the broader Hispanic cohort, it's crucial to balance your approach. This underscores the importance of tailoring your campaigns to the different groups and communities within the Hispanic market. Balancing this requires creativity and an understanding of the linguistic dynamics within your community. As a marketer, if you're not familiar with the intricacies of the Spanish language, I suggest enlisting a diverse, knowledgeable team to help with a campaign geared towards 200%ers. Did they just hire like a whole bunch of fucking millennial writers to ruin their ads? Are you Spanish or new Hispanic? Oh my god. You feel so much more included when you're removed from half the conversation by broken Spanish and English. Very cool. Very inclusive. No. A successful Spanish language or bilingual campaign goes beyond literal translation. Instead, it should be transcreation that honors the cultural nuances of the Hispanic community. Is that what our fucking localizers do when they get given good Japanese media? They perform transcreation and that's why it's fucking terrible afterwards? Address the age gap. Younger generations make up a big part of the 200%ers. 25% of Gen Zers identify as Hispanic. That's a lot. That's a lot. And many of them either immigrated to the US at a young age or were born here. However, it's crucial to recognize that there's also an older cohort of 200%ers that have long resided in the US yet retain a strong connection to their roots. You may be able to address and reach both audiences with the content of your campaign. Make sure you select the appropriate channels to effectively engage each one. For the younger 200%ers, digital and social media platforms will likely be the most effective. Platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube are where they are most active. For the older group, traditional ad placements on television and radio are still relevant and effective. Addressing these age groups ensures your campaigns are inclusive and relevant across generations, offering a holistic approach to bicultural advertising. Wait, you can just identify as a race? I guess so! Fucking have at it, man! This is making your brain hurt. You hate TikTok so much. Same, dude. Learn from your audience. There are some experiences that books and research articles cannot capture. This segment is under-researched, so conduct your own qualitative and quantitative studies to assess how your impending campaign will resonate. Engaging directly with the audience through face-to-face interactions can yield valuable insights. Yeah, but that's not, like, Hispanic specific. That's just, like, you should do that anyways. For example, our conversations with this audience have revealed that they appreciate ads that understand their unique situation and family dynamics. So include La Chancla in more of the advertisements, is what I'm getting from this. They often feel caught between being too Hispanic for the American community and too American for the Hispanic community. All right, okay. My Latino bros in the chat, is this a problem that you've ever thought of in your entire life? Have you at any point in time thought, man, I'm just too dang Hispanic for these Americans, or vice versa? Yes, every day! Oh my god. Not Mexican, but yes. Never feels authentic. Oh my god. Yeah, just spam the yeah. GPT was born as a third DNA culture from 9 DNA chip. It's why she's unique AI. Oh my god, you're not Hispanic, but you can feel their cringe. And being a Floridian Cuban is pretty great. Oh, sorry, you don't count as a real Hispanic in America because you probably vote conservative. You just get out. This whole article, a hidden Taco Bell advert. What the fuck? What the fuck? Personal interactions and focus groups can reveal preferences, pain points, and cultural touch points not captured in broader research. In summary, successful bicultural advertising for 200%ers hinges on understanding language complexities, adding diverse age groups, and learning directly from the audience. So, like, basically the way any other kind of advertising works? What do they mean by this? By embracing these strategies, you will be well equipped to craft campaigns that resonate deeply and effectively with this unique and dynamic market. As this segment continues to grow, pay close attention to the fine details and craft campaigns that speak to this group rather than lumping them into the larger Hispanic market. Recognizing the 200%ers as a significant and established group within the US Hispanic market ensures that your advertising strategies are relevant, impactful, and enduring. Their considerable influence warrants targeted and thoughtful engagement, reflecting their importance within the market. Are you ready for some trans creation, chat? Lefty pandering is legit racism. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Just worthless overthinking. Make product look good, that's it. Burgers! How will this help us sell more burgers? Alright, that is the end of that smart brief. So let me see here. Oh, we got a night before the election bridge email. So I'm reading off my email again. No, nothing on screen. It's in email. Actually, I can put up a little image. I can put up an image. Hold on. My brain cells, they work sometimes, chat. A little smart brief image here. Yum 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 yum. Yum 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 yum. Thank you for being my notepad, Nimothy. Good moderator. Insights from our October community call. The B.R.I.D.G.E Community Call is a vibrant monthly gathering of diversity marketing and business leaders committed to driving systemic change within our organizations and the industry at large. Dear everyone, last week I had the honor of hosting our monthly community call with B.R.I.D.G.E board chair Sandra Sims-Williams to discuss best practices on how to support your teams and feel supported as we head into election week. We had a robust and informative discussion, at the core of which were 5 key actions leaders can take to prepare for extraordinary situations now and in the future. It's not too late to take action. Click here to get actionable insights from the call. Ooh, I wonder if I can click on that. Please note, regardless of the outcome, we are holding a post-election Zoom call on November. I think they missed the 6th there. Our purpose will be to provide a safe space for whatever's on your mind. So please come for support or to support our amazing B.R.I.D.G.E community. And if you haven't already, sign up here. Let's see what that link has. Let's see what this rinky-dinky linky has. Oh, my browser. Oh, my browser. Oh, my shoulder. Oh, my shoulder. Oh, my browser. Oh, they're all connected. Oh, they're all connected. I'm clicking copy link address. Ooh. Ooh, I just got really dizzy. Oh, perfect. This is just on LinkedIn, so it's not even like super secret. 5 best practices to support your employees during election week. Last week, I had the honor of hosting our October community call with B.R.I.D.G.E board chair Sandra Sims-Williams. This is written by Cheryl Dijja herself, the founder and CEO of B.R.I.D.G.E, to discuss best practices on how to support your teams and feel supported during these divisive times. This momentous week will require close and careful collaboration from D.E.I, communications, and business leaders. Companies should consider proactively creating plans to deal with the division their employees might have around these societal and political issues, as well as for the possibility of civic disruptions after November 5th. After all, or above all, make sure all comms are routed through your CDO before distribution. Key actions to consider while building your plan for this week and for going forward in your permanent comms plan include: review your company policies around communication practices on your company systems. If none exist, proactively create clear and well-defined policies and ensure timely communication of what they are to your employees. But what does that have to do with the election? Hello, my fellow Taco Bells. Yo quiero Taco Bell! Create a psychologically safe space for your employees to share their feelings and concerns without the fear of retribution, and the space to process the build-up to and the potential results of the election. Communicate thoughtfully, clearly, and proactively to your employees with more open dialogue around political and societal issues taking place in companies. There is an exception from employees to hear from their employers, or expectation, sorry. There's an expectation from employees to hear from their employers. Actually, I don't think there is. I don't think there's a single person working like a 9-to-5 or a trade job who goes into work thinking, man, the election just happened. I expect to hear something from my boss about this. Oh, what? No, nobody thinks that. No humans think that way. Be sure to include your DEI leaders in the development of your communication plans. Prioritize mental health by reinforcing all the mental health resources available both internally and externally. Dear employees, MAGA 2024, LOL, try again in 4 years. True. And number 5, consider adjusting deadlines, schedules, and work from home policies. Close offices on election day to encourage your employees to vote. Ensure important deadlines are not on or immediately after election day, and give people the option and flexibility to work from home for the days following the election to ensure their personal safety. Bro, what? Bro, what? I mean, like, the ensuring, like, there's no deadline so people can vote. Like, that makes sense. That would actually make sense. But what the fuck is all this, man? Can I click on her name? Will it show me, like, other things she's written? I know, the November 4th one is the most recent. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Find a new job, nerd. Your diversity hires might get pissy about the results. Coddle them. Yeah, in a nutshell, that's basically what she said, dude. That's basically what she said. Let's see, where are we here? Retailers brace for DEI blowback in lead up to the election and holiday shopping season. Retailers are facing a tough equation as they head into the all-important holiday shopping season, this time over DEI initiatives. Companies are bracing for blowback related to policies around diversity, equity, and inclusion, and are hoping to avoid alienating customers who may deem the brands too woke or not woke enough. This is why they did all of their, like, walking back shit in the summer. So by the time all of this holiday buying came around, most people will have already forgotten about it. Some are tapping outside advisors for advice on how to avoid criticism, while others are opting out of public events on the topic as backlash against equity and inclusion programs grows in the lead-up to the 2024 presidential election. CNBC spoke with a number of retail industry insiders. Hold on, I gotta open water again. My arm is starting to be very fiery. Very fiery arm. Women be shopping! I really want to get good Black Friday deals, but I don't know if those even exist anymore, man. It feels like they just inflate the price and then pretend they put it on sale. CNBC spoke with a number of retail industry insiders, strategists, and staffers who spoke on the condition of anonymity to do so candidly. There's a clear sentiment in the retail community that nobody wants to get Tractor Supplied. Actually, fun fact, Tractor Supply genuinely looks like the only company that has put out a statement that might actually be serious about getting rid of their DEI. I don't know if they are, but they're the only ones that use language in a way that makes me feel like they might be serious. They could just be better at playing the fucking subversion game than these other companies, but Tractor Supply looked like literally the only one that was actually getting rid of it. Said one retail industry insider referring to that company's decision to walk back a series of DEI initiatives after conservative activist Robbie Starbuck criticized the policies online. Retailers left to their own devices would like to be very proactive on DEI, said the person, but now they don't want any of their views to be public because they want to be able to sell stuff to everybody, and it's become such a stupid political issue. Yeah, why can't we just give favorable treatment to minorities and women and the LGBTQ+? That shouldn't be political at all. You stupid white people and white men just should shut up and take it. The retail industry's concerns over DEI come after a number of high-profile consumer-facing companies, including Lowe's, Tractor Supply, Ford, Molson Coors, walked back some of their equity and inclusion policies in recent months. And it might look like a walk back, but literally all of these have doubled down. I put out tweets about how they doubled down. The best that they've done is say that they're no longer going to report to, what is it, like the Human Rights Campaign or whatever the fuck? They're just like, we're no longer going to report our numbers to these people, and we're not going to sponsor Pride, I think is like what Harley did. Is barely walking it back. The changes included ending... Oh, it says Human Rights Campaign right here. If only I had read one sentence farther. The changes included ending sponsorships for Pride festivals and cutting ties with the Human Rights Campaign, an LGBTQ+ advocacy group. But other than those things, they basically just doubled down on everything else, including the employee resource groups that are heavily racist. Across industries, some companies have also cut positions for DEI roles. That's because they're trying to merge it into the rest of their company. Between 2019 and 2022, new jobs for Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officers spiked nearly 170%. But over the last year, new jobs for such roles have fallen, while companies like Google and Meta have cut staffers and downsized programs that fell under DEI. Again, they are making it everyone in the company's job. The goal of this is to get rid of the DEI departments. That is the goal. They no longer want DEI departments. They want everyone in the company on board on the same ideological track to change the culture. When explaining their decisions to cut back on DEI, some companies, like Lowe's, cited the recent U.S. Supreme Court decision that outlawed affirmative action as a catalyst for reviewing their policies. Privately, many retailers are concerned about losing customers and becoming the subject of conservative backlash. Last year, Anheuser-Busch, owned Bud Light, and Target faced severe blowback for marketing campaigns and product collections geared toward the LGBTQ community, and saw sales fall as a result. As retailers prepare for a potentially less than stellar holiday shopping season, they want to ensure that they don't do or say anything that could end up having the same effect. Well, just don't fucking hire Dylan Mulvaney. It's literally that simple. Bud Light, more like drink whiskey like a man. The growing concern around public DEI efforts, especially during a highly politicized election year, has cast a pall over certain industry events. In late September, the Retail Industry Leaders Association hosted its annual summit for corporate communication professionals. This year, the event was tied together with RELA's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Leaders Council, which led some retailers to be concerned about the optics of attending, according to a person who was present and spoke with participants who expressed reservations. RELA declined to comment. One former retail executive who didn't attend the event but frequently advises publicly traded retailers said it makes sense that some companies would be concerned about attending because the optics of it are maybe not so great. The tide is definitely turning against D&I initiatives, said the former executive, who spoke on the condition of anonymity so that they could do so candidly. They already said that earlier. I do think it has a lot to do with the election. If you're a CEO and you're looking at, is Donald Trump going to win or is Kamala Harris going to win, and you're self-serving, I can see why you need to hedge your bets. Oh, you see that? This executive is like, yeah, if you're a selfish, sad sack of shit, you're gonna be a bit more cautious about your DEI initiatives right now. The person called it a no-win situation, especially for major retailers with large customer bases that span both sides of the political spectrum. At a top New York City advisory firm, one strategist told CNBC that primary concern facing their retail clients is DEI and how they should be preparing for potential backlash, or how they can avoid it altogether by preemptively walking back certain policies and practices. Some of the discussions included whether to participate in annual gay pride parades and how to communicate any policy changes to staff. Now, you see, this is even funnier, right? Where like Robbie Starbuck was like, man, we just can't stop winning. Look at all of these companies. I didn't even expose them yet, and they're already cutting certain parts of their DEI programs. We have a New York advisory firm literally advising these companies on what specific policies that are safe to walk back and still be committed to the work. I am out of my goddamn mind. You swear Starbucks is paid opposition? Dude, I don't like calling people like fucking planted opposition or whatever, but it genuinely feels like he is at this point. Genuinely feels like controlled opposition. Retailers are constantly concerned about what they put out there. I think there's a higher pressure on them, said Sonia Lipinski, head of consulting firm Alex Partners Global Fashion Practice. If you think about the time of year, they're going into their biggest selling season right now. If we look at a moment in time, the last thing they want to do is potentially upset consumers or generate some bad publicity about what they're doing or not doing. So they're highly sensitive and highly concerned. Lipinski pointed to a recent consumer sentiment survey that Alex Partners published, which showed less than half of millennial consumers considered it very important for a retailer to embody their values in messaging, interactions, and marketing. It should be way more than less than half. And then we go down from there, so 45% of millennials, less than 40% for Gen Z and Gen X, and when we think we hear Gen Z cares about this, and then boomers was 16%. This is also really interesting. When they say that less than 40% of people in Gen Z care about the values in messaging and marketing, whereas almost every single other marketing material article that we've read about this says that Gen Z cares the most about the values in messaging, and that if you're trying to target Gen Z consumers, the number one way to do that is not just to use influencers like TikTokers and YouTubers and live streamers, but to make sure those influencers that you're hiring to push your product are diverse. Because Gen Z cares more about whether the people peddling to them are diverse than what the actual content of the message is. It's been such a crazy look into how Clown World operates, chat. However, that doesn't mean that retailers shouldn't be thinking about DEI when it comes to their business strategies. If I'm designing a product line or even a service or something like that, and I don't have kind of a wide representation of people who have been creating that, I think I'm very quickly going to miss the pulse on what my consumer thinks about. So even if they're saying they don't need to see it coming through in messaging, they will need to see it coming through in product that resonates and experiences that resonate and service levels that resonate with them. And that's going to differ based on who they are and where they come from. What the fuck? Did she just Kamala Harris me? Did she just unburdened by what has been me? What the fuck did this woman just say? Even if they're saying they don't need to see it coming through in messaging, they will need to see it coming through in product that resonates, and experiences that resonate, and service levels that resonate with them. What the fuck is this bitch talking about? Consumers don't want DEI, they want good product. You're not allowed to have good product! You'll eat the goy slop and you'll like it! Thank God you made the right choice to hopefully work at Tractor Co. and not Home Depot. I genuinely hope, for your sake as well, since you're going to be working there, hopefully, fingers crossed for you, my guy. Fingers crossed for you. I hope that they are genuine in their walking back of DEI shit. Because, like, there's always a chance that, like, I've been fooled by their messaging as well. But it's like, it definitely read completely differently from all of the other, oh, we're doubling down on DEI, but, you know, we're gonna tell you that we're gonna cut these programs, you know, the weasel words of the other companies, right? Tractor Supply felt different. It read different. I will not eat the slopoo. But you'll eat my slopoo, right? My homemade Kirsche slopoo. All right. Okay.